Following the presentation of the Rivers State 2025 Appropriation Bill before the Victor Okojombo-led Rivers State House of Assembly by Governor Siminalayi Fubara and its eventual passage into law, the main opposition party in the state, the All Progressives Congress, APC, has described the action as illegal. Now, the Rivers State chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Tony Okocha, noted that the presentation of the 2025 Appropriation Bill to the Victor Okojombo-led House of Assembly was illegal and in violation of the court rulings as well as established governance protocols. Okocha, who spoke to journalists in Port Harcourt, said the governor's actions demonstrated a blatant disregard for the rule of law and judicial pronouncement.
It is unfortunate, it is unimaginable, it is unthinkable that a governor had risen through the ranks. If for nothing else, he was a civil servant, full-blown civil servant in the Ministry of Finance. It means, of course, that over the years, he's not a toddler in the business of budget and how it is presented. 27 of the assembly members are on this side. 3 members of assembly are on this side. And between you and I, is it not an anathema that a budget of a state as prominent and as all-important as Rivers State will be presented to an illegal setting? Court of Appeal in their various judgments from the days of Omotosha, way back in January 2024, it is clear in the judgment of Omotosha that a budget has to be presented to a legislative arm under the leadership of Martins, Right Honorable Martins Chike Amegu. I did all I could today as we speak on this matter. Each time I see the assembly members and see them still fronting their PDP membership, I just tell myself that for once you have lost something. I'm a goal-getter, but in that case, I lost it. I challenge any person from any ward, from any LGA, because I had to set my searchlight, and I was willing, I was wishing that any one of them would go and register for the party. None registered.
Still in Rivers State, the budget worth 1.188 trillion naira is a quite sizable one, and the last thing the governor wishes for is trouble, the size of the budget itself. Now, as we've told you, Fubara assented to the budget within 2 working days after presenting it to the 3-member assembly loyal to him. This scenario is like a playback of what happened last year when he presented the 800 billion naira 2024 budget before a 4-member assembly and assented to it within 24 hours. Now, let's hear what he said.
I want to say this, maybe for some persons somewhere who are still mixing up issues. We have only one assembly, and that assembly is headed by Right Honorable Victor Okojombo. A group of friends, they embarked on what they call Simba's journey. Halfway the vessel, while they were coasting, they now realized that they were entering inside the den of devil and sharks. They now retrieved. It is too late. It is too late. And the truth about it, we're not going back.
Earlier, we were joined by Dr. Austin Tam George, a former commissioner for information in Rivers State, who gave us an overview of how things stand and the budgets.
It's very clear, and I think there have been judgments, regarding that. So, this matter is already considered by the Rivers State as a settled matter. Now, the reality is that there are members of the Assembly who now constitute the legal, legislative arm of the Rivers State government. So those are the people that the governor can only legally deal with. as constituting the state legislature. In fact, there are judgments that forbid the governor from dealing with, will always be for the FCT minister to focus on his administration in Abuja and allow the governor of Rivers State to implement the developmental agenda he has set for himself, so that Rivers State can move forward. This back and forth between the minister and the governor has nothing to do with personal differences, other than the governor insisting that there has to be an end to the privatization of state resources. There has to be an end to the capture of Rivers State resources for the benefit of the FCT minister, and that all resources meant for Rivers State will henceforth be used for the development of the state and for the benefit of all. It's as simple as that. Is the governor's agenda, and he has the full support of all Rivers people.
Now, still talking government financing, the National Union of Local Government Employees has expressed disappointment over the 6-month delay in implementing financial autonomy for the 774 local government areas, despite a Supreme Court's judgment mandating the direct disbursement of their funds. The court's July 11, 2024 ruling declared the long-standing practice of state governors controlling local government funds unconstitutional and directed allocations to be paid directly into local government accounts. But 6 months later, state governors continue to receive and control these allocations, defying the judgment. Norgay's national president, Hakeem Ambali, has decried the delay and called on President Bola Tinubu to urgently enforce the directive. He highlighted assurances from the president and recent developments indicating that direct allocations to local governments would commence by the end of January. Now let's quickly bring in a lawyer, Evans Ufeli from Atlanta in the U.S., to help us make sense of the delay in the execution of the Supreme Court judgment. Thank you so much for joining us, Evans, on the news.
Thank you. Good morning.
Compliments of the season to you. Now, go ahead and tell us, Evans, is there some way a delay of this kind can be justified under the law?
No, it's obedience to an order of court. And this is quite very unfortunate. The court, when it handed down this judgment, clearly stated that it takes effect from the moment the judgment was delivered. There was no date put forth in the future for collective adherence and compliance. So the governors, as it stands, are already in contempt of court. And that is unfortunate because these are chief law officers of states that are supposed to uphold the ethics of democracy and enhance, the purpose of governance. But here we, governors, standing as a clog in the wheel of progress, which is to say that they have soiled their oath of office. Because the oath of office, one of the basic lines, the oath of office is allegiance to the Constitution and the laws of the land. Okay, the judgment of the Supreme Court is the law. It's what they call case law. Now, if you are taking an oath of office to defend the Constitution and adhere to the laws of the land, Nigeria, and there's a standing judgment that you're acting in a particular way, you're acting otherwise, it is contempt. All of them are not fit in character and learning to lead their respective states, having failed to do what the law says they should do by pronouncement. I mean, it's unfortunate, and I think that the association and the local government authority should take this up with these governors. They can be immune for now, but when they leave office, they can all be prosecuted, by contempt for this act of defiance that they brought upon themselves and their respective states. By 6 months after the judgment, by now we expected that the local government authority would have been fully autonomous and implementing, grassroots development. But it's unfortunate that what we have is the opposite of what was handed down by the.
All right, Evans. Now you talked about, the governors, soiling their oath. What do you make of a political solution over and above the judgment of the Supreme Court? Is that also part of the nation-building process? Just asking.
There's no political solution. The solution is the judgment of the court. That is what they must adhere to. They must adhere to that. That is, in fact, that is the solution to the problem of a lack of development at the local government level. Okay, so whatever, any other thing that first they need to be punished first for the 6 months they have been in defiance, they have been in contempt. That once their tenure expires, I mean, if I didn't think we have state house of assembly, we don't have legislature at the state level. This is what they call gross misconduct. Gross misconduct under the Constitution is impeachable. It's an impeachable offense. So having not complied with law, this respective governor ought to be impeached by now, and the deputy governors of the state should have taken over. Okay, that is how to deal with administration and society. You know, they are all guilty of this. So the political solution, if you want me to speak to it, is that the State House of Assembly, if they have the balls, which they ought to do, they should commence impeachment proceedings against the respective governors that have failed to adhere to the order of a competent court in Nigeria. And they should also be punished further for becoming the clog in the wheel of progress at the grassroots. Because now the grassroots, look at how the grassroots, the people at the grassroots are living. They are the ones being stampeded when they go collect palliatives, are the ones dying because of hunger and all that. But this problem would have been taken care of, by the local government if they had their resources directly to them by the dictates of the law and the judgment of the Supreme Court. So the implication of this is that these governors are, you know, acting at cross purpose with their original mandate to help the government at the center to rescue the
all right, now speaking
of
original mandates, Evans, in your estimation, do you think that the local governments will receive a lump sum to cover the moratorium? And also, are you even confident that the governors will indeed let go of them financially with the way things are going?
Yeah, you know, the local government chairmen themselves, okay, many of them are also timid because they were also, you know, brought in there by the governor. So many of them are timid. I know it was time we were discussing this, and I said, many of these local government chairmen, if this money comes directly to them, many of them may take it back to the government because they are timid and they are not able to be a man of themselves, of their own, because the governor of this state contributed largely to making them. You know, that is the kind of politics we play in this country. We play politics of, you know, politics of give me, I give you. Then the people can go to hell. Okay? The people can go to hell. That kind of politics does not lead to any kind of development. Okay? It's a politics that is self-centered and self-serving. So the people can as well just go to hell. Let the ones who have grabbed power.
Okay.
Let them keep mismanaging the resources and the rest of that. That's only what I get it, and it's wrong.
All right. You know, sadly, we would actually have to wrap up here. But thank you so much, Evans, for your time and for speaking to us.
You're welcome.
Now let's move to politics, where Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed says political meaning should not be read into his absence from Governor's New Year visit to the Lagos home of the president. Now, on New Year's Day, governors under the umbrella of the Nigerian Governors Forum visited the president at his home in Ikoyi, Lagos. No fewer than 13 governors traversing geopolitical zones were attended the meeting. But Governor Bala Mohammed, who also serves as the chairman of the opposition People's Democratic Party, that's the Governors Forum, was notably absent from the visit. It was a move that sparked speculation, particularly given recent tensions between Mohammed and the presidency over President Tinubu's proposed tax reforms. Earlier in the week, the presidency accused the governor of issuing threats against the president, while Mohammed countered by accusing the presidency of blackmail and reiterating his opposition to the reforms. Let's talk security matters now. The Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa has restated the resolve of the Nigerian military in continuously upholding the territorial integrity of the country. Now, General Musa was speaking in Samaru, southern Kaduna in Kaduna State, northwest Nigeria, during his working visit to the newly established Samaru cantonment to aid in the fight against insecurity. Our correspondent, Chizoba Nyongwe, was on his entourage and now tells us more.
The Chief of Defense Staff began his tour of duty with a courtesy call on the traditional ruler of Kagoro in Zangon Kataf local government area of Kaduna State.
To show also our commitment to ensuring that there is more peace to southern Kaduna, more peace to Kaduna, more peace to the north, more peace to Nigeria, and invariably more peace to Africa. Because we believe it is only when we have peace that we can have development.
We pray for all of you, and we believe that same will soon be normal in Nigeria, the way we are going.
Thereafter, he moved to the newly established Samaru cantonment to see the level of work done and also to speak with the troops. He further commended the General Officer Commanding 3 Division for the level of peace so far achieved in the area.
To remain very professional in your conduct. Nigeria is relying on all of us to make sure Nigeria is safe and secure. And that's the task we have to do. So I'm counting on each one of you, individually and collectively, to know that all of us are Nigerians. This country is our own. The work we are doing, we're on the right path. We are defending our country, which we have signed for. And we must do it well. We must respect the human rights of everybody. We are only after the bad guys.
The GOC 3 Division and Commander Operation Safe Haven, Major General Abdusalam Abubakar, is optimistic that with additional combat enablers on the ground, more successes will be recorded.
We also have more MRAPs coming. And the one he missed out, which he has also promised, is the issue of motorcycles. They are all very conversant with our terrain. Our terrain here, some of these places, you cannot enter them with gun trucks. So motorcycles are very, very key. Also, we'll be getting night vision goggles to enhance our night fighting capability. So we have no reason, we have no excuse not to deliver. Is that clear? Yes,
the senator representing Kaduna South, Sunday Marshall, is asking for more civil-military relations.
Let's have a civil-military relationship, like he has been preaching everywhere. We want peace in the entire senatorial district, and by extension the state and the country. So we appeal to you to work with us, because we know and understand the environment. We respect what you're doing, we also respect what we're doing, and together we can make this place a safer place.
Now, with the visit of the Chief of Defense Staff here in Kaduna State, one would expect that the morale of these troops will be heightened, which will translate into better security in Nigeria. In Kaduna State, for News Central, Chizoba Anyonwe.
Now, the Nigerian police force has pledged to increase its operational presence and enhance interagency collaboration as part of its commitment to supporting the resettlement of displaced communities in Borno State. The State Commissioner of Police, Mohammed, made this known during a briefing on its annual crime data report for 2024, where the police recorded a total of 721 crime cases with plans for the year 2025. News Central's Umari Kirawa completes the report.
It's another successful day for officers and men of the Borno State Police Command. The Police Commissioner, Mohammed, is out to brief the press on the command's successes in the year 2024.
The command has reported incidences of felonious crime, misdemeanor, and other simple offenses, totaling 367. Of this total number, 721 suspects were arrested, 257 charged to court, while 110 are still under investigation.
The report by the Commissioner indicated a continued focus on criminal activities such as armed robbery, kidnapping and human trafficking, which have affected both urban and rural communities.
Our projection is in line with the IGP vision to reduce crime to the barest minimum nationwide, at least by 30%. Now, the command intends to sustain robust, proactive policing by ensuring that Maiduguri Metropolis maintain its stature as one of the safest and most secured state capital.
The security situation in Borno has seen improvement, with fewer incidents of insurgent attacks in the latter half of 2024. The Nigerian police force stressed that more work needs to be done to maintain security, especially in areas receiving displaced persons.
The Nigerian police force is the lead agency when it comes to internal security. So our projection for 2025 is how do we key in to this grand Borno restoration. To key into that one, we have to align with the transitional justice system by enhancing police presence in such communities where displaced persons have returned, and ensure that there is community participation in terms of our policing priority, as well as protection and promotion of human rights.
The police has urged the public to assist in the provision of timely information for response to aid in its crime-fighting efforts, particularly as many communities transition from displacement back to normalcy. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
Now to security of women. No fewer than 133 Nigerian women, including teenagers, were victims of suspected gender-related violence between January 1st, 2024 and December 31, 2024. Now, the details were contained in the 2024 DOHS CARES Foundation's femicide reports. The alarming number of incidents was based on verified reports of gender-related violence published by various media outlets in Nigeria during the period under review. The reports indicate that approximately 12 women were killed between January and March 2024. Among the victims was a 3-year-old girl named Asia, who was initially reported missing but was later found dead in Bauchi State with some of her body parts allegedly removed. According to the data, at least 9 women lost their lives to gender-related violence in April. Gladys Emmanuel, an attorney at law and advocacy officer, Tabitha Empowerment Center in Abuja, joined us to provide insights on the matter.
To understand that addressing femicide is a collective responsibility. It is not the responsibility of the government alone or civil society organizations or even families alone. It is a collective responsibility because this is one monster that is eating deep into the fabric of our society. So the first thing, after recognizing we need concerted effort, the next thing we need to do is awareness creation. We cannot overemphasize the importance of awareness creation. Just over the last concluded 16 days of activism, I was in a community, and out of 50 persons who were involved in that community dialogue and engagement, we asked basic questions about women's rights, basic questions around issues of gender-based violence, and it will surprise you to note that we had less than 10 persons who really had like very minute understanding of this issue. So you see, in the absence of knowledge, abuse sometimes is in it.
Away from that, workplaces within Nigeria's federal capital remain closed on Thursday as workers failed to resume their duties 24 hours after the new year. Now, residents were seen at recreational spots enjoying the last moments of the holiday season. Our correspondent Joshua Marai visited some areas in the FCT and filed this report.
It's day one after the New Year Day celebration in Nigeria's Federal Capital Territory. However, the capital city is unusually quiet as many residents are yet to return from the holidays. A quick visit to one of the recreational centers within the city shows residents still in holiday mode, savoring the last few moments before work fully resumes.
As I'm free, we need to come outside and enjoy ourselves before we start our daily activities. So we thank God, we just come outside there to celebrate.
I'm working for myself, that is self-employing. So I decide to resume anytime I want. And that is why I decided not to go work today, because this is the second day.
Some share their aspirations and expectations for the new year.
My expectation is for 2025 is for things to be easy with people.
Everything should come down, foodstuffs and every other thing. The price should be normal so that the poor masses can meet up. Because last year wasn't that funny at all.
We don't have any trust on government again. We have lose hope, everything. I don't know.
With the holiday season gradually winding down, the Federal Capital Territory is expected to see a high influx of residents and workers returning from their holidays as economic activities resume at full scale. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Marai.
Nigeria's poverty rate is estimated to have reached 46% in 2023, according to a World Bank report, with an estimated over 100 million Nigerians living below the poverty line. Now, however, Nigerians continue to feel the negative impact of the economy by the policies of President Bola Tinubu, particularly the devaluation of the naira and the removal of fuel subsidies. In continuation of our 2024 sectoral review, our correspondent Adebola Adedugba takes a look at the government's efforts in alleviating the suffering of the people.
One of the campaign promises of President Bola Tinubu upon assuming office was to immediately start a social welfare scheme with direct monthly cash payments to about 25 million vulnerable Nigerians as a way of tackling poverty. However, a 2024 World Bank report says Nigeria's poverty rate increased from 40% in 2018 to 46% in 2023. The increase has been linked to removal of fuel subsidy in May 2023 and the valuation of the naira in June 2023 by the current government. Against this backdrop, the poverty rate is projected to get worse for 2024, with the likelihood of hitting 47%, translating to over 104 million Nigerians living below the poverty line. In a bid to mitigate this and cushion the cost of living crisis in Nigeria, President Bola Tinubu continued the cash transfer program, distribution of grains and other palliatives to all states of the Federation, and the country's minimum wage was also increased. Despite these, some Nigerians believe the efforts have had little or no impact on their disposable income.
Kó tó di pé epo wọn tí gbogbo ẹ̀ wọ́n ẹ̀ẹ̀mẹ́ta ni mò ń jẹun lójúmọ́, ṣùgbọ́n nígbà tí epo díẹ̀ tí wọ́n ń sìn ẹ̀ẹ̀kan ṣo ni ó ṣe fẹ́ jẹun àárọ̀ ńsìn ni mo ní ṣiṣẹ́ kán bá gbé oúnjẹ wá àdúgbò wọ́n ń fún mi o, wọ́n bá gbé gàrí wá fún mi, wọ́n bá gbé rẹ́ẹ̀sì wá fún mi níwọ̀nba yẹn wọ́n bá máa fún mi, wọ́n bá dẹ̀ gbé gàrí wá fún mi níwọ̀nba tó máa fún mi ní àtẹ̀wà, ṣùgbọ́n mi ò gbowó o.
Alhamdulillah, shankabu daya da supermarket na samu, alhamdulillah. Wannan rabona ne, amma naira a cikin wannan naira ban samu ba.
A matakin jiha da matakin abin nan federal government din ba abin da aka mana, kawai dai an zo an same mu an tambaye mu account number namu da sauransu mun bayar, daga baya ba abin da muka ji kuma ba abin da muka gani.
Beyond the toll the harsh economic condition is taking on individual lives, how are families faring?
It's not easy. I'm a single mother of two. So what I buy 150 before, we are buying 600 now. So everything, the way the things increase, like ×5 of increment. Just to drink curry, if you can use 300 and drink curry, maybe money no do, maybe drink curry. But now, if we want to drink curry now, like afternoon, money no do, we spend 1,000.
I don't think the social intervention has really helped us because, again, we do this intervention without a lot of data. A lot of this intervention are just done haphazardly. You talk about the cash transfer. and we don't even know who are the people that are receiving this cash up to this moment. Again, there's a political side to it. You must belong to a particular political party to enjoy from these interventions from government. To drive and to see positivity in this intervention, it has to be data-driven, just like what happened with World Bank and others. So unless we get that right, we'll continue to have challenges. We'll not be able to see the effect of some of these projects.
All tiers of government must provide incentives to enable private investors to embark on large-scale farming. Also, the president must quickly introduce the forest rangers that he promised to provide for security in the farming communities. This dire situation needs both short-term and long-term solutions to the food crisis in Nigeria.
It appears government may need to audit its poverty intervention program as the cost of living in recent times has soared beyond the purchasing power of the average Nigerian, barely struggling to keep afloat. In Lagos for News Central, Adebola Adeduba.
A Zambian police officer reportedly under the influence of alcohol released 13 detainees to celebrate the new year, sparking a manhunt for the escaped suspects. Inspector Titus Fury allegedly took cell keys from Constable Sarah Banda at Leonard Chilo Police Station in Lusaka on New Year's Eve, freeing individuals held for crimes including assault, robbery, and burglary. Police spokesperson Ray Hamunga described the incident, stating Inspector Fury acted under intoxication when he forcibly seized cell keys and unlocked both the male and female cells and instructed the suspects to leave, stating that they were free to cross over into the new year. A court in Burkina Faso has sentenced 2 individuals to life imprisonment for their involvement in a 2017 attack on a Turkish restaurant in Ouagadougou that claimed 19 lives. The attack occurred in August 2017 when 2 gunmen opened fire at the Aziz Istanbul restaurant on the capital's main avenue. While no group claimed responsibility, the assault followed a pattern of attacks targeting areas frequented by expatriates. Now, the restaurant is located just 200 meters from the site of a January 2016 attack on a hotel and cafe that left 30 dead and 71 injured, many of them foreigners. Burkina Faso has faced a series of violent incidents, including a March 2018 assault on army headquarters and the French embassy, which killed 8 soldiers. The trial of Aliou Ba, leader of the Liberal Democratic Movement, continues in Conakry Court. Ba is accused of offense and defamation against General Mamadi Doumbouya, the head of Guinea's junta. The charges highlighted the country's ongoing struggle with freedom of speech and political opposition. As Guinea navigates its transition to civilian rule, the international community is watching closely. Now, the country has a history of human rights abuses, including the 2009 stadium massacre that killed over 150 people. In other news from around the world, U.S. authorities say that they do not yet know why a suspect blew up a Tesla Cybertruck outside the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas, an incident that investigators are probing as a potential act of terror. The motivation at this point is unknown, according to FBI Special Agent Spencer Evans, who spoke to reporters, adding that it was not lost on agents that the blast took place in front of a hotel linked to U.S. President-elect Donald Trump, with Tesla owned by prominent Trump-backed Elon Musk.
Absolutely. Like I said, we're running down investigative leads around the world. No information that we're aware of right now that connects this individual to any terrorist organization around the world. But that's obviously the thrust of the investigation, is ruling out that there's any sort of, terrorism nexus, and then again, getting at what the ideology is. Sheriff's pointed out, we feel that the subject has been identified, although not conclusively, waiting for DNA evidence on that front. However, we do feel like we have the subject identified, and at this time there is no information about additional subjects that the FBI is tracking on.
We believe the question is, was the gunshot self-inflicted? And we do believe it was, since he was the only person in the vehicle, and it occurred immediately prior to the vehicle blowing up. His body is burnt beyond recognition, and I do still not have confirmation 100% that that is.
In business, the Nigerian naira depreciated to 1,541 naira 36 kobo to a dollar on the first trading day of 2025, marking a 0.36% decline from the 2024 closing rate of 1,535 naira 82 kobo per dollar, according to NFM rate data from the Central Bank of Nigeria. And while some authorized dealers quoted the dollar at 1,545 naira per dollar, others reported a lower rate of 1,520 naira to a dollar by Thursday's close. In the parallel market, the naira strengthened slightly to 1,655 naira to a dollar from Tuesday's 1,670 naira to a dollar. The naira experienced a significant 40.9% depreciation in 2024 compared to the 2023 official rate of 907 naira 11 kobo to a dollar. The decline follows the CBN's foreign exchange reforms, including December's introduction of the electronic forex merchant system, which temporarily stabilized the currency. Still in business, Tullow Oil announced that the International Chamber of Commerce has ruled the branch profit remittance tax does not apply to its operations in Ghana's Deepwater Tano and West Cape 3 Points fields. Now, this ruling exempts Tullow from a $320 million BPRT assessment and eliminates future liabilities under the tax. The BPRT targets profits remitted by foreign businesses to their parent companies abroad. Despite this victory, the West Africa-focused oil company continues discussions with the Ghanaian government to address two remaining tax claims. Now, in the world of sports, the Badminton Federation of Nigeria has unveiled plans to organize multiple national tournaments in 2025, focusing on enhancing the sports development and creating more competitive opportunities for players. According to the president of the federation, Francis Obi, these tournaments aim to strengthen athletes' skills and prepare them for international competitions. The federation also celebrated Nigeria's success in badminton, particularly the achievements of para-badminton athlete Eniola Bolaji, who won a bronze medal at the Paris 2024 Paralympic Games. This accomplishment highlights Nigeria's growing prominence in the sport and underscores the talent of its athletes. With an eye on the Los Angeles 2028 Olympic Games, the federation aims to qualify more players while continuing to invest in athletes and grassroots development to ensure sustained growth and competitiveness. Zambia head coach Wetson Nyirenda has unveiled his 30-member provincial squad for the CAF CHAN 2024 tournament with a mix of seasoned and upcoming stars. The CHAN team will enter residential camps over the weekend as part of preparations for the tournament, which will run from February 1st to 28th in Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda. Zambia is among 18 teams that have qualified for the CHAN, but will await the final draw to determine their opponents and tournament base. Nyirenda's charges will intensify preparations after sealing their ticket to the CHAN following the withdrawal of Mozambique in the final qualifying round. Prior to the withdrawal by Mozambique, the Zambian team had been conducting weekly preparatory camps for the local players. Still talking sports, Karolina Muchova dismantled Jasmine Paolini in straight sets to help the Czech Republic beat Italy on Friday and set up a United Cup semi-final against the United States. Kazakhstan play last year's runners-up, Poland, led by women's world number 2, Iga Swiatek, in Saturday's other semi-final in Sydney. Muchova, who suffered a career-threatening wrist injury and missed 10 months of tennis before returning last summer, made her case to be taken seriously at the upcoming Australian Open. The 28-year-old ranked 22 in the world to Paolini's 4 defeated the Italian 6-2, 6-2 to give the Czechs 1 foot in the last 4. Muchova now boasts of a 5-0 record over Paolini. And that's all at this hour. But before we go, here's another look at some of our top stories. We told you that All Progressives Congress in Rivers State has rejected Governor Fubara's budget, describing it as illegal. We also told you that a Burkina Faso court has sentenced 2 to life imprisonment over the deadly 2017 attack on a Turkish restaurant. Finally, you heard that a drunk Zambian policeman has freed 13 suspects to celebrate New Year. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Darshan Usman.